Good evening, everyone. I'm Aahana Miller, the principal of ABM, and as some of you might know, I work with my father, Alfaz Miller. Today, I'm going to explore how millennials are redefining architecture and design. But first, I should explain who these millennials are. So we can't really characterize millennial as a type of behavior. It simply describes those born from 1980 to 2000, and by that definition, I'm a millennial. It seems as though this word has a particular negative connotation and there are stereotypes attached to it, such as being lazy and entitled. While I can't speak for all millennials, I can speak from my own experience and observations. And we can't really define a millennial style of design, but there are certain ideologies that can be understood. And catering to the needs of any generational group requires a change of paradigm. And once we understand these needs, we can offer design solutions. To meet their demands, one can take a simple approach by adapting existing concepts. And we see this happening through the real estate developers, architecture and design professionals who have started to investigate and offer solutions for new concepts of living and working. I find that there are some of us millennials who prefer to avoid the financial burden that comes with ownership, and this results in a co-sharing economy where clothes, housing, and even cars now are shared. And instead, money is being saved and put towards travel, arts and culture, food socializing. And to millennials, these experiences have a far higher value than possessions. We have three distinct spatial environments that are transforming. The first is live, which is the home of the millennial. Second is the workspace, which is being redefined. And lastly, public spaces that offer unique experiences with comfort and utility. Millennials have different preferences when it comes to their living spaces. They're looking for homes that are more compact, simple, with an open floor plan. And more millennials are looking to rent rather than to buy. So living spaces have become temporal, with millennials exploring different careers, changing locations, working remotely, so spaces need not be designed to be permanent. And now smart homes, concepts of flexibility, multi-purpose spaces are also what millennials are drawn to. And designers are now integrating building automation that allows setting of ambience and security. And like co-sharing, co-living is increasing, with millennials searching for roommates to save money. According to a report published by Deloitte, millennials will account for almost 75% of the workforce by the year 2025. So between working and meetings, millennials are a part of a new typology of workspaces. And they require areas that are quieter for more personal work and other areas that are open for collaboration. And while offices are being designed to incorporate breakout spaces, for millennials, it's not only about creating a fun working environment. They're also looking for a good work ethic and a good work-life balance. And that is something I strive to achieve in my own practice. And one way of doing that is to allow flexibility to one's employees, giving mental health a priority, and giving employees enough personal time to avoid burnout. Apart from work and live, there's also the public space in which millennials seek unconventional shared experiences. So there is a shift not only in urban planning practices, but also in the design of interior public spaces, such as restaurants, bars, lounges. We're designing the new lounges at the Bangalore International Airport, and the brief given to us was we have to design a space for millennials. And being the only millennial on the design team, I became the translator for that. And I think for millennials, it's more about overall concepts such as comfort and utility that define their preferences. And it is a positive shared experience of being in these spaces. The pandemic has had a big impact on our behavior and lifestyle. It has also allowed millennial designers to work remotely, which has changed everything. It has also affected the design of public spaces, healthcare, modular construction methods, and given rise to sustainable practices such as adaptive reuse. First, spaces are designed to be environmentally sensitive, and designers are working with sustainably sourced materials. And second, designers derive elements from local architecture, which are then reflected in their architecture along with current trends that are functional and not just visually appealing. The tech age is influencing today's living and working choices. So rather than designing their more traditional methods, millennial architects are inspired by what they see online. And they have multiple tools at their disposal to explore concepts, presentations, working drawings. And they're using these tools to experiment with various software and model presentations. But I find that between the boomers and millennials, there seems to be an entire generational gap. Millennials have come to age during the time of technology, and that's obviously given them a different set of behaviors and tools. And does this mean that there is a difference in ideology and two ways of working? So when I joined my father, he embraced this gap. But what I found, it was difficult to train his existing team. But I think that the latest technology can be taught to those willing to learn and evolve. And this complements all the knowledge and experience that has been accumulated by boomers. So the trick is to find the optimal combination of the two generations. It doesn't need to be one or the other. So values the Gen Z aspire to live by are an extension of millennials' values and concepts. And the millennial workforce will surely make room for the next generation, who are also making significant societal disruptions, especially in the architecture and design workforce. With the oldest millennials now in their 30s, they've already had a profound effect on the profession of architecture. So the question is, what's next? So we can no longer deliver buildings, but we have to deliver places and experiences, question the brief, knowing that we might fail. And in responding to the question, in responding to the disruption, we should always push the traditional boundaries to include new and innovative ways to design spaces that people will value and to create spaces people will love. Architects, designers, engineers are witness to this transformation and can agree that the generation to come is destined to change the future of architecture. Thank you.